Ever feel like staying on top of cybersecurity is like trying to catch smoke? I mean, the threats just keep evolving, right? Getting more complex and targeting every corner of our digital lives, especially those critical endpoints, our devices, your laptops, your servers, even cloud workloads. So today, we're doing a deep dive, navigating this modern cybersecurity landscape. We're really zeroing in on how organizations are using AI, automation, and, well, smart strategies, not just to detect threats, but to proactively defend and recover fast. We've got a really interesting stack of your sources here. They cover AI-driven endpoint security, some advanced endpoint recovery stuff, and the latest trends in vulnerability management. Our mission: to kind of distill the most important nuggets from these sources, helping you understand not just what's going on, but how it's really reshaping the future of digital defense. Okay, let's unpack this. So these sources, they paint a pretty clear picture. And honestly, it's kind of intense. The volume, the sheer complexity of cyber threats is just constantly climbing. Ransomware is in the headlines practically every day. It really makes you stop and think, why are our endpoints, the laptops, servers, cloud instances, why are they always the most sought-after targets? The most valuable ones for attackers?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that cybersecurity today, it isn't just about stopping a breach anymore. It's fundamentally about operational continuity.
Operational continuity.
Yeah,
You mean keeping things running even under attack?
exactly. Keeping the business functional under pressure. These threats, they're not just trying to sneak in. They're aiming to disrupt, to halt operations, maybe even cripple them entirely. So the whole game has changed for endpoint solutions. Our sources really highlight this. They need to be able to inspect encrypted traffic. They have to enforce policies, even if someone's identity gets
It
compromised.
happens all the time.
Right. And they need to ensure incredibly fast containment, especially now with environments being so distributed. Just think about critical industries like healthcare or finance. The stakes are incredibly high there.
Absolutely.
As one source puts it, seconds can mean regulatory penalties or breached patient records. That kind of immediate, tangible impact on operations, reputation, trust, that's precisely why endpoints are such prime targets. They're the gateway.
Front line.
The front line, exactly, and often the most vulnerable point if they're not properly locked down.
It really is a high-stakes game. So, okay, if the endpoint is that critical, how do organizations get smarter about preventing attacks before they even happen? Like checking the locks on the digital fort. Which brings us to proactive vulnerability management, right?
Absolutely. And the Kaseya Cybersecurity Survey report you sent over, it really shines a light on some big shifts happening there. We're seeing a definite trend towards more frequent assessments. Like in 2024, 24% of respondents said they conduct vulnerability assessments more than 4 times a year.
Well, then quarterly.
Yeah. And that's a pretty big jump from just 15% the year before in 2023. It signals, real acceleration in how often they're checking their own defenses. And on the flip side, doing it just twice a year, biannually, that's becoming less common. Dropped from 29% down to 18%.
So what's driving that? Why scan more often?
Well, it's not random, it's strategic. Things like the risk level of the environment are huge. Public-facing apps, critical infrastructure, they might get scanned daily or weekly. Then you've got compliance, of course. PCI DSS, for example, mandates quarterly scans.
Ah, right. Compliance checkboxes.
Definitely a factor. And also big infrastructure changes, onboarding new cloud accounts, those usually trigger more checks too. This whole push for continuous scanning is really gaining steam because, well, it gives you 24/7 monitoring, which means you find and fix vulnerabilities much, much faster.
Reducing that window of opportunity for attackers.
Precisely. Tools like Vulfskin, which the report mentions, are built for this, identifying internal, external weaknesses, simplifying scheduling, giving you those intuitive dashboards. What it really shows is a strategic shift, moving from just periodic checkups to, continuous health monitoring for your IT, because the sooner you find it, the less likely it gets exploited.
Okay, so that's the proactive side. But here's where it starts to feel really futuristic. Active defense. How is AI, artificial intelligence, changing how we protect endpoints in real time? Especially against threats nobody's even seen before.
Right, and this is exactly where Sentinel-Alone's Singularity platform really stands out. It's heavily featured in that Gartner Magic Quadrant report. They were pioneers, really, in using both static AI—
Analyzing known code patterns.
Exactly. And behavioral AI plus machine learning. That combination lets them detect totally novel techniques, things that traditional signature-based tools would completely miss. And unlike older systems that have to call home to the cloud constantly, Sentinel's approach mesh works both online and in air-gapped environments.
Completely offline system.
Yeah, totally
Right.
isolated, maximum security. It automates the response using intelligence right there on the device, so it protects even if it's disconnected. What's really groundbreaking, though, and maybe a bit sci-fi sounding, is their move towards agentic AI.
Agentic AI, what does that mean exactly?
So, think of it not just as AI helping a human analyst, but as a class of autonomous AI systems. They can actually initiate and execute security actions without needing a human prompt for every little thing.
Wow. Okay. Taking action on its own.
Yes, but within defined parameters, of course. Imagine it handling routine tasks, speeding up decisions at machine speed, but critically, keeping the human operator in control. They set the rules, oversee the outcomes. It's about empowering the system to act fast, intelligently, freeing up the human experts for the really complex stuff.
So it handles the grunt work.
In a way, yes. A prime example is Purple AI. Centalone calls it their AI security analyst. You can literally ask it questions in plain English.
Like what?
Like, show me all devices that talk to known ransomware command and control servers in the last day. It translates that into powerful hunting queries, suggests follow-up questions, recommends next steps, even writes reports. And it's all built on this thing called the Open Cybersecurity Schema Framework, OCSF. Basically, a way to get unified visibility across all your security data, endpoint, cloud, identity, everything.
And the results. Are they seeing real benefits?
Oh, definitely. The numbers are pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Organizations using Singularity Endpoint and Purple AI, they're reporting detecting threats 63% faster.
63% faster.
Yeah. And reducing their mean time to resolution, MTTR, that's how long it takes to fix an incident by 55%. And they're seeing a 60% lower likelihood of a security incident overall. We even saw a specific story about a healthcare provider. During a nasty phishing-induced ransomware outbreak, they cut their incident response time by over half.
50% reduction during an active attack.
Exactly. And they directly credited the automated rollback features and that unified visibility.
That's incredible speed.
Yeah.
So how does this really change things for the IT and security teams day to day? Like those visual storylines you mentioned, correlating data or the one-click rollback. Does that really make recovery almost instant in a crisis? Or is it still complex?
That's a great point, because it's about more than just the stats. Day to day, this tech really changes an analyst's workflow. Those storylines, they're not just graphics. They act like an intelligent connector. Instead of someone manually digging through logs, an endpoint alert here, a cloud log there, an identity flag somewhere else, Storylines automatically pulls all that telemetry together.
So you see the whole attack narrative at once.
Instantly, yeah. It cuts down massively on manual triage time and just the mental effort involved, and that one-click rollback. It's a genuine game changer for response. Think about the chaos of ransomware. Being able to instantly revert an infected machine back to a clean state just before it got hit, that's incredibly powerful.
Avoids re-imaging the whole machine from scratch.
Exactly. Saves critical data, minimizes downtime drastically. Now, obviously, there's still human oversight validation needed. You don't just blindly click buttons.
Right, makes sense.
But these features let teams respond with incredible speed and precision, turning what could be days of recovery effort into maybe just minutes or hours. It really shifts the human focus from frantic firefighting to more strategic work like threat hunting and verifying the AI's actions.
It's clear AI is profoundly changing the active defense game. I mean, it's no surprise Centalone's been a leader in that Gartner Magic Quadrant for endpoint protection platforms for, what, 5 years running now?
Yeah, that consistency speaks volumes.
Okay, even with the best AI, sometimes things still slip through, right? Stuff happens. So when an incident does occur, how fast can a company realistically get back on its feet? Which brings us to recovery. Rapid endpoint recovery and automated management. That seems critical too.
Absolutely critical. And that's where solutions like Swimage, mentioned in your sources, really come into the picture. Their whole focus is on rebuilding, recovering, and securing instantly. They're tackling some of the biggest IT headaches. Corrupted operating systems that won't boot, the delays getting new hires set up, and just the nightmare of recovering devices, especially when people are working remotely all over the place.
Yeah, remote recovery must be a huge challenge.
It really is. Swimage uses this detect, decide, deploy approach. It's highly automated. It can automatically repair the OS, often without losing any data. It does zero-touch deployments, new machines set up with all the right apps and security configs automatically, and crucially, it enforces compliance during every rebuild. Automatically.
Okay, but what about speed? That seems key in recovery.
Speed is probably its most stunning feature. It can apparently rebuild any PC in minutes, Often the claim is under 15 minutes, even if the device is completely offline.
Under 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Offline.
It carries the necessary components locally or can pull them efficiently. The impact is huge. They say it slashes downtime by over 80% and eliminates costly desk visits for IT support. That's real money and time saved.
And for ransomware, how does that work?
That's where it's particularly valuable. It can essentially eliminate ransomware and malware instantly by doing a full system rebuild. It wipes the infected state and restores everything, the OS, apps, settings, user data in minutes, including an automated, secure rollback to a clean state. What's really unique is its ability to work online, offline, or over slow VPNs. And get this, it never decrypts the PC, regardless of the encryption type.
It doesn't need to decrypt.
Apparently not for the rebuild process itself, which is a big deal for security and handling remote devices where you might not have recovery keys easily accessible. It makes it ideal for today's remote workforces. There's a powerful quote from a federal government agency CTO. Their techs replaced nearly 5,000 PCs in just 3 months using Swimmage.
Wow, 5,000 in 3 months.
And other remote workers specifically mentioned being impressed that it worked even in extremely remote conditions. So it's not just fast, it's resilient and accessible. Keeps operations going no matter what.
That really does highlight the business continuity angle, especially for global companies, like Swimmage mentions, operating across 85-plus countries in all sorts of conditions. It takes a huge burden off IT teams, but also enforces security and compliance consistently. It's about getting people productive again, fast and securely, wherever they are, without overwhelming IT. Now, all this tech is amazing, AI, automation, but our sources kept bringing up something else, something more, well, fundamental, often overlooked maybe, the human element.
Yes, and this raises a really critical question, maybe an uncomfortable one for some organizations. That IT vulnerability management trends source, it had a pretty stark finding. The top cause of cybersecurity issues is people.
Oof. Yeah, that's always the tough one.
It is. But we have to look at it, right? The stats are quite telling. Organizations blaming a lack of end-user or cybersecurity training for incidents.
Yeah.
That jumped significantly, from 28% in 2023 to 44% in 2024.
That's a big jump.
Huge. And even more striking, nearly half, 45% of respondents, identified poor user practices or gullibility as a major problem. That tripled from 15% the year before. Tripled.
Wow. Just clicking the wrong link, using weak passwords.
Exactly. And the impact is undeniable. Compromised user logins. They contribute to somewhere between 60% and almost 80% of all breaches. So what this really lays bare is this critical paradox. The more advanced our tech gets, the more crucial the human element becomes. People are either your best firewall or your weakest link. Investing purely in tech without equally strong training and awareness programs, that creates a really dangerous imbalance.
You know, it's funny you say that. Even knowing all this, I almost clicked on a really convincing phishing email just last week. It looked so legitimate.
It happens to everyone. They're getting incredibly sophisticated.
It really hits home, doesn't it? It just reinforces that even with the smartest AI, the fastest automation, human vigilance, ongoing training, good habits, that's still the absolute foundation. You can build the best digital fortress, but if someone just hands over the keys, well, the whole system breaks down. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Proactive vulnerability management, cutting-edge AI defense, lightning-fast automated recovery. How do these powerful pieces actually fit together? How do they create a truly comprehensive, resilient security posture?
Yeah, if we connect all the dots, zoom out a bit, it really underscores the need for a layered approach. It's not about one magic bullet, it's about synergy. Think of it like this. The proactive scans, like from Volscan, that's your first line. Finding and fixing weaknesses before attackers can use them. Locking the doors and windows preemptively.
Makes sense. Step one.
Step one. Then you have the AI-driven endpoint protection, like Sentinel-Alone. That's your real-time autonomous defense. Catching the sophisticated stuff, the novel threats that might slip past the initial checks. It's constantly watching, responding, containing active attacks, often automatically.
The active guard duty.
Exactly. And finally, if something does get through, because let's be realistic, it can happen even to the best prepared. That's where automated recovery and management like Swimmage comes in. That's your ultimate resilience layer. It ensures that even if a breach occurs, you can instantly rebuild, clean the system, restore everything, and get back to business with minimal downtime and no data loss.
And it's a cycle. Prevent, detect, respond, recover.
Precisely. A complete symbiotic cycle. Each layer strengthens the others. Prevent finds weaknesses. Detect response stops active attacks. Recover minimizes damage if something gets through. That integrated strategy is what makes the whole system truly resilient against this constantly evolving threat landscape. It's how you achieve real operational continuity.
And there you have it. We've really explored how the cybersecurity battle is fought on so many fronts, from those proactive checks to autonomous AI defenses and that crucial lightning-fast recovery. The goal clearly isn't just detection anymore, it's achieving true operational continuity, keeping things running no matter what. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about, a more provocative thought perhaps. We heard about AI becoming agentic, right? Taking significant security actions without direct human prompting in the moment. How do we, as organizations, as individuals, how do we actually define and maintain that critical balance between human oversight and machine autonomy, especially when things are moving at machine speed? How do we ensure trust and control in this rapidly advancing landscape? Something to chew on. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. We hope you feel better informed and maybe a bit more prepared for the future of digital defense.